Yo, Trades by Easel here. I just wanted to do a raw and uncut video here, kind of where I was, where I am, and where I'm heading. For me, I've been trading for a little over 2 years. I've had plenty of time and opportunity to learn from my mistakes. And in August, this is where it all changed for me. I started trading a new strategy. The strategy is not important, but it was the 5 minute orb. Basically, it gave me a box that I had to stick into time, entry, stop loss, targets. I just needed to stay in my box. The best thing about that strategy is it taught me patience, discipline, and following a trade plan. That's important. It doesn't matter what strategy you decide to trade or you do trade. Those three things are extremely important. The fourth thing is having a daily loss limit. When I started trading this strategy, I put on a daily loss limit of $300 and it took tilt away. There was no more tilt days. I didn't have the option to tilt. Majority of the prop firms out there have the ability to automatically shut your trade down if you hit your daily loss limit. So I highly suggest you use it if you're not. So in August was my first eval. I had 4 evals at this time, and August was my first month that I started trading this, and up to September. On September 24th, we passed my first eval, my first funded account. And at that point, I felt that I had the confidence and the ability to no longer go into tilt, that I would copy trade my other 3 evals. So, the first 3 days of this month were green. So I'm not really going to focus on having, a profitable month in September, but it is what it is. It was green. October hit, and I'm so grateful for October because there was so much growth that got to happen for me in October. It looks like a damn Christmas tree lit up, and it was a struggle. I hit this wall at 600 probably 10 times, where it hit 600 to 300 to zero, back to 300 to 600, and it was this giant struggle. And you know, I was so determined to stay the course, to have my trading plan, to keep following my trading plan, to have the patience and the discipline that I would get through. So that's why I'm so grateful for this, because all of my prior bad habits were squashed. This is the month that I got to squash those. Doesn't mean they're not going to reoccur. Doesn't mean you're not going to have an episode. That doesn't mean that. But it does mean is that I gained control in this month of my trading. So that's kind of how I started. A little bit of the struggle. To kind of bring us to where we are now. November was a great month. October with the 4 hour consolidation on YM was brutal. Price action has been a lot better in November. Um, I did tweak a couple of things that I wanted to do in November. I wanted to reduce some of these losses. I can't control having losing days. When you see your setup, you need to take your setup. But what I can control is how much I was willing to lose. So I immediately cut my daily loss limit from 300 down to 240. That's huge. It's $60 a day potentially. So going into November, we had our new daily loss limit of 240. I look back 4 months ago, and I couldn't believe that I would be here today, because my first goal was to get funded, and we hit that in September. My second goal was to take my other 3 evals that I was copy trading and get those funded. And here we are at the end of November, and last week, or yesterday, we got this one funded and this one. And then last week, we ended up getting this one funded. I wouldn't have believed it if I told myself 4 months ago you would have 4 funded accounts that you achieved from hard work, from staying disciplined, having patience, and following your trade plan. I could have bought funded accounts, but to me, I didn't want to, because the last thing I wanted to do was spend money on a funded account that I knew that I was not able to keep. And to me, it was really important that I made a personal goal, or something that I wanted to achieve, was I want to make payout on my first funded account. Trading is extremely hard. I know a lot of traders blow their first funded account, and I just thought it would be really cool if I was able to stay the course and actually take an eval, get it funded, and get the first payout on my first shot here. Um, I am like thrilled to say that we are more than halfway to my goal. My third goal was to take a payout at $4,000. See, I could be greedy and I could, do that at 3,000, or I could do that, at any point in time. I could take, half my profits here. Uh, but I'm going to stay the course, and I followed my trade plan all the way up to now, and I'm gonna follow my plan on my payout strategy. Um, so that's my next goal. We're trying to hit is $4,000 profit on this account, and then my very next goal is I want to have an accumulative between four accounts at $10,000 a month. Um, that means we need $2,500, $2,500 a month. It's definitely achievable. And it doesn't mean that I'm sitting here focused on, oh, I need to make this much money. It's something that I believe it's important to have goals in life. So that's just a goal that I've added. I'm not somebody that's going to have 30 goals written out. I will have a couple goals. And by the time we get, those goals knocked out, I will have a couple more goals planned out. I kind of use goals as stepping stones. And when I get close to achieving my second goal here of the 10K, we're going to figure out the next couple goals. But during this time, we're finishing November off here. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and Friday, I'm not going to probably be trading Friday, so I'm going to wrap up November here. Um, and I thought it was a very good time to kind of make a video of just where I was, where I am, and where I'm heading. And I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I'm overwhelmed of where somebody can be in a short amount of time if you truly stick to your word, stick to your trading plan, stick to patience and discipline. These are massive things, and we watch trading psychology videos, and everybody says that. And for me, it'd go out of one ear to the other one, and it wasn't until I just accepted that's when it changed. When I accepted that we're going to have losing days in trading, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter what strategy you trade, you're going to have losing days. So just accept it. You don't need to go full tilt. You don't need to revenge. You don't need to do those things. It's not beneficial. It has never been beneficial, and it never will be beneficial. So I appreciate you guys spending the time, watching this. If you guys come across this, hopefully this helps one person. And regardless where you're at in trading, you got to use that daily loss limit. It's been such a massive improvement in my trading that I will always point this out because I just believe it's so important to have that daily loss limit. I don't know when we're going to hit my next two goals here. I'm not focused on dates on when we're going to hit these next two goals, but we're going to hit them. It's written. It's happening. I've built the confidence. I've been able to stick to the plan over these few months. I've been able to have hardship and still stick to the plan. I ain't saying it's going to be smooth sailing, but this is happening. I hope you guys enjoy your holiday weekend here. If you guys celebrate Thanksgiving, we will be back at it in December. As always, win, lose, or break even, we'll be here. You guys take care.